It's time to make it, just give it a try. 'Cause you can make it like the old fat guy.
It's time for another episode of You Can Make It with the Old Fat Guy, David Farrell. Today I'm going to be making some savory cheese biscuits. Now, biscuits are great for breakfast or as a snack or with chili and that kind of stuff. But when you add some cheese inside of them and some herbs into it, they get such a rich, full taste. They're great as a side for dinner. They're great with a bowl of soup. They're good with any meal. They become more than just a bready snack. They become something quite tasty. So let's get into making some savory cheese biscuits. And we'll start off with what I have here is 230 milliliters or a scant cup of flour, but I prefer to go flour by weight. So this is 122 grams of all-purpose flour. To it, I'm going to add 3 milliliters of salt, 8 milliliters of double-acting baking powder, and 8 milliliters of an Italian seasoning mix. You can just buy it in a jar in the store. It saves you mixing stuff up. So we're just going to put that into the flour and stir it around. Get it all mixed well together. There we go. Now, I've kept my butter in the fridge because you want your butter to be really cold when you make your biscuits. It makes them more tender. And what I have here is 25 milliliters or 2 tablespoons of very cold butter. So just throw that into your flour, and we're going to use an item called a pastry blender to cut the flour into the butter. If you don't have a pastry blender, you can take 2 knives and do this with it to get the same effect. But you just push through the butter, and you want to work it in until the butter's fine, just sort of like a coarse cornmeal kind of consistency. And every once in a while it'll stack up on there, just push it off. I see how it's getting crumbly. That's what you're looking for. Just a little bit more than that will be good though, but you still want some chunks of butter in there because it helps give a nice tender texture to your biscuit. So there we go. We've cut the butter into the flour. Now, to that we're going to add 100 milliliters, which is 1/3 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of cold milk. Just make a well in the center and pour it all in. And then start mixing from the inside out until it starts to get to be a cohesive ball. You want to mix it as little as possible because mixing makes biscuits tough. So when it gets to be a ball that's kind of sticking together like that, stop mixing. And we're going to spread a little bit of flour on our work surface here, just to stop it from sticking, and flour our hands a bit because what we're going to do now is scrape all the contents of the bowl onto that flour. I get all the flour bits off the edge, and there we go. Now, it's critical you don't overhandle the dough, but you do want to make it into a smooth dough, so we're going to fold it and knead it 8 times. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and if your fingers start to stick, a little bit more flour. There's 4, there's 5, starting to stick a bit, so we'll pick up a bit of flour off the table here. There's 6, there's 7, and lastly 8. And then just kind of press it a little flat. And you want to reflour your board and the top of the dough. because now what we're going to do is get our rolling pin out, and we want this to be about an 8x4 square. So here we go with the rolling pin. And just put a little bit of flour on it and roll it out until it's 8x4 roughly. You don't need a ruler, you just need to do it by eye. And there's kind of an 8x4 square. Like I say, don't worry about it being perfect, you just want something close. So now that we've got our rectangle rolled out, what we're going to do is put 125 milliliters of shredded cheese on top of that. That's about half a cup. Just spread it around. I like cheddar, but you can use any cheese you like. And there we go. It's such a warm day today, it's kind of sticking together, but don't worry about it. Just spread it around. It's just got to be a reasonably even layer. And once you've got the cheese kind of spread out, just try and make it a little squarer again if you need to. Like this is kind of mushed up a bit there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to roll it like a jelly roll. You're just going to grab one edge and roll it into a cylinder and kind of flatten the edge up. So now that you've got it in a cylinder, you're going to take an ungreased baking tray. Now, I'm just going to be doing this in my toaster oven because it's so hot in my house today that I don't want to heat the house up. And the toaster oven is better at not heating the house up. So I've got it on a tray and I'm just using my toaster oven tray on it. And what we're going to do is cut the cylinder into 8 rounds. So we'll just cut it in half for 2, cut that in half again for 4, and then cut those in half to make 8. And put them on their edge on the baking sheet. Now these are going to go into a 450 degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. They might cook a little bit faster in a toaster oven because it's got more direct heat from the top, but they should be ready in the 12 to 15 minute range. So I'll see you then. I cooked these for about 14 minutes and you can see they've just got a bit of golden showing on the top and the cheese is starting to caramelize over it. That's exactly what you're looking for. Now when you're cooking with cheese on a pan, you want to make a point of taking them off the pan right away, but just in case the cheese starts to stick. So we'll just put these on a little tray here to cool off. There we go. Okay. Now, these, as you can see, are absolutely gorgeous cheese biscuits. They have a nice shape to them. The cheese looks bubbly over the top. They got a nice golden color. They're nice and crisp on the surface, but the real secret is to bite into one. So let's just grab one of the end pieces, which are a little uglier. You can see nice and golden on the bottom, and break a piece off and blow on it because it's going to be really hot. The herbs give it a nice complex flavor. The cheese gives it a salty, gooey bit of touch and center. They're absolutely delicious biscuits that are tender on the inside and crispy on the outside. And the best part of these biscuits is you can make it.
I have a good woman, I ain't good looking, but I do some cooking. I'm the old fat guy. So use that oven if you want some lovin'. Be like the old fat guy. like the old fat guy.